We will be solving quadratics using a TI calculator. So if I have something that looks like this, y equals x minus 7 squared minus 3. I'm going to go ahead and graph it by hand first so that we can find the zeros by hand, or at least see a visual of it. All right, so when we do this, remember A, H, and K, A, H, K. What does the H do? Horizontal shift. Now it's a negative 7, so am I going to move back 7, or left 7, or right 7? Right, because it's always the opposite. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, I shouldn't have marked that, sorry. And then I need to move, a K is a negative 3, so remember K moves it up or down. Do I need to move it up 3 or down 3? Down 3, so 1, 2, 3. So this is my, what is that called? Starts with a V. Vertex. Is that a minimum vertex or a maximum vertex? Do we really necessarily know yet? No, we don't. I mean, you can probably guess, but so if our A, what is our A value? 1. So remember, you need to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and that's about the best you can do. And then you're going to do a general sketch. So that is my parabola. Now, to solve a quadratic, you need to find the zeros. Remember, a zero is when the graph intersects the x-axis or when y equals 0. So anytime you see a problem that says solve the quadratic or find the zeros, they're always trying to find where does the parabola cross the x-axis. So how many times does this parabola cross the x-axis? Twice. So you're going to end up having 2 solutions. So I'm going to write the steps to find it to find those zeros in the calculator. You can get a good idea of looking at that. It's probably going to be between 6 and 7 and 9 and 10 probably, but let's see for sure. So the TI 84 to find zeros. So you will hit the y equals button on your calculator. You're going to hit the graph button. Second trace. Calc. So on the button it's going to say CALC. Going to hit the one that says 2, 0. It actually says the word 0. It's going to pop up on the bottom saying left bound. You will have to move to the left of the 0. Right bound. Move to the right. You have to enter after that. Sorry, I should have added that. Guess. Enter. And then you have to repeat for the second root. When you get done writing that down, I want you to go ahead and get out your computer and go to the Schoology main course screen. So just like you see over here, go to this main screen on Schoology. So here we go. So when you're on the main screen of Schoology, up at the top it says Calculator. Click that link. It's going to open a new tab. Hit Start Test Now and Start Section. Up at the top in the middle, it's going to say TI-84. These are going to be the options you see when you actually take the park. This right here is the TI-84. Now remember, there is going to be a section of the park where you're not going to be allowed to use a calculator. So this option won't show up on the very first unit on the very first day. But then you'll be able to use it on the rest of the time. The second half of the first unit and then second unit, third unit. So click on that. Now, if this calculator is not big enough for you, if you notice that blue box that's around it, if you click off of it and then hit the Command plus. So hit Command plus, it will zoom in so that you can see it a little bit better. All right, so here we go. So now let's follow these steps over here. It says hit Y equals. That's this button right here. So Y equals. Type the equation that you did that's written on your notes. So you have parentheses. Remember, hit this X. You need to actually hit the X. Don't try to click X on your keyboard. Minus 7, close parentheses, squared. And then it was minus 3. And then hit enter afterwards. So parentheses x minus 7, close parentheses, squared, minus 3. That's that equation that we graphed just a second ago. Then the next step says to hit graph. Now, if you look at this graph, how many zeros do you see that it has? Look, it has 2. So you know you're going to have to do these steps over here twice. So we've already hit graph. Now we're going to hit second trace. Either hit 2 or go down to the 2. Now notice it says left bound. Does your calculator say 0 and 46 like mine does? Okay, so I want you to start hitting the right arrow. And it should get closer. Now, does everybody see that? Raise your left hand. Everybody raise your left hand. Okay, so you need to get to the left of that 0. It doesn't matter how far left. Don't be extremely far away. But so go to the left. Hit enter. Now notice it says right bound along the bottom. So go to the right of that 0 and hit enter. Those arrows should pop up and you should see that that 0 falls between those arrows. Now hit enter one more time. And what is our 0? 5 point, now it's 5.26. 6, 7, 9. On your assignment for today, you're going to have to round every single one of them to the hundredths place. So that means I want 2 decimals. So you're going to look at the 7. What does that 7 make that 6 do? It rounds the 6 up. So it would be 5.27. And you always write it as x equals. So you give me the x value. You give me the x value when y is equal to 0. So that's the first one. How many solutions or how many zeros did we say we should have? 2. So let's do the second one. So you're going to go and do these steps again, starting at the second trace, because we're already looking at the graph. So I'm going to go second trace, 0. Now I need to move to the left. I need to move to the left of this 0 right here. See my little arrow? So I need to move to the left. So right there, I'm to the left of it. So hit enter. Now I need to be to the right of it. And right is this way. So now move to the right. Hit enter. Notice your 0 should fall between there. So now it says guess. So hit enter one more time. There we go. So what is the second 0? So it is 8.7, 8.7320. I want 2 decimals. So what does that 2 make this 3 do? Stays the same. So it would be 8.73. So x equals 8.73. Let's do one more. Let's go ahead and find the minimum. Remember, we wrote these notes the other day. So to find this, it's kind of the same steps, but when you go to the second trace option, instead of going to the 0, I either go to min or max. Now, what is the min or max? Or is it, sorry, let me rephrase that. Is this vertex a minimum value or a maximum value? It is minimum, so I need to go to 3. Again, it's going to pop up saying the same thing. Move to the left of the minimum, move to the right of the minimum, and hit enter one more time. So this one is 6.9999999, which would round to 7, comma, -3. Remember, the 7 and the -3 come from our h and k. It moved 7 right, so it would be a +7, and moved 3 down. So remember, you can see that if the equation is set up this way.